Welcome back, everybody. We're continuing to monitor breaking news happening on the west side of Oahu, specifically in Maili, where firefighters have been battling a growing brush fire. It started at about 2:30 this afternoon, and probably about an hour or so later, evacuation orders were issued to a few hundred residents who live Mauka along Kula-Aupuni Road. Now, at one point, we're told 31 units were there responding to this fire. Of course, the area out there is very dry. As you see there, the fire is only 20% contained. The winds also playing a very critical role. And not only are they accelerating as they come down the mountain, but the winds apparently swirling. Areas covered in smoke 1 minute, will turning blue skies the next minute as the smoke was shifting to other areas. We did hear unconfirmed that at least one home was destroyed. We're waiting for a representative from the Honolulu Fire Department to join our Nikki Schenfeld, who is live there on the scene. We're expecting that to happen at 6:15, which is exactly 1 minute from now. Some of the other information that we can tell you, Hawaiian Electric Company did not institute the automatic shutoff, the PSPS program, but we were told that at least 30 homes were de-energized, and this was for firefighters to go into the area. The smoke was so heavy that at the time, firefighters, in cooperation with Hawaiian Electric Company, did de-energize those homes so that there wouldn't be any threat to fire officials and others. Now, we do know that HECO representatives are on scene. Obviously, a bunch of fire department personnel, 31 units at one time, and HPD also there. The helicopters trying to do some drops, but again, windy conditions, obviously hampering anything that can be done in terms of fighting this fire from the air. One of the conditions is extreme drought, and again, on that leeward side of Oahu, that is one of the driest spots on this island, one of the driest in the state. And of course, everybody very mindful what happened almost 2 years ago on Maui and Lahaina, and this is not a totally unsimilar situation. Now, we understand that Nikki is standing by, so let's go to Nikki Schenfeld now with HFD. Nikki, what is the updated information you can bring us?
Units arrived at scene at 2:42 p.m. We have currently 27 units, including 2 air assets. We also have assets from Fed Fire and EMS. Multiple fires have been involved with this huge fire. The fire is currently about 20% contained. Once a damage assessment is done, we will share that info with you. Please stay out of the area in order to give space for our first responders to work. If you feel unsafe or smoke is affecting you, we recommend leaving the area.
Can you confirm if any structures have been burned at this time?
I cannot confirm that at this time.
Obviously, it's very early, but is there any indication as to what started this? Some residents have been saying someone was burning something in their yard. Do you know?
I did not get that information.
Can you go over what streets this may have started at?
I know the call came from Pa'akea, and as we look at the wind, it's variable, so it's been switching. I went down to Maliona, and there's also affected there.
And then from Maliona Street, and then it would blow the opposite direction. So how big is this area of the evacuation?
At this time, we don't have that estimate.
Has EMS told you folks of any injuries or anyone that they've treated?
I did not get that information from EMS.
We also know that some residents have decided not to evacuate, especially those along Kaukamana. Some people just wanted to hold out. What's your message to them?
We are trying to keep them safe. It would be helpful if they would assist us at this time so that we can get things around them in a safe and safe for them to be there.
Can you tell us a little bit about the area in which the fire started? We were along Kaukamana where it looked like there was a farm with some carnival rides and some vehicles. What do you know about the area in which it ignited?
I don't have that information at this time.
As night approaches, and if it's only at 20, maybe 30, 40% containment, what would be your message to the residents if this wind continues on?
The wind's variable, it'll change, so it may affect you if you decide to make your return. So we do recommend staying at a safe area if possible.
Right now, the biggest challenge is, would you say, is the wind, or what else are some of the challenges that your crews are facing?
I think it's wind, the length of time that they've been out there, resources. We're glad to have Fed Fire give us some assistance.
Do you know from the furthest stations around Oahu how many teams were called in from outside of this district?
The numbers that we have is 27 units, including the 2 air supports, plus Fed.
Federal firefighters.
Okay. And then around what time can we expect the next update from you folks?
We can get that in about 2 hours.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Sorry, one last question. Will you suspend airdrops at a certain point as night falls?
That would be on the command's call.
Got it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
So, as you folks heard in this press.
All right, that was our Nikki Schanfeld there reporting live. Thomas Inoue with HFD. Again, talking about winds being the major concern. Again, the fire only about 20% contained. You could hear that they did have the helicopter you could hear in the background, but at 6:19 right now, there's not much daylight left. A couple, maybe an hour and a half that they can get out here the long summertime days. But we'll continue to monitor that situation. Again, he was unable to confirm if any properties were destroyed. We did hear witness accounts to the contrary that maybe there was at least one, but we'll continue to get information and bring it your way.